Yeah. I don't know anything about any famous people. I know Deepak Chopra is because This is true. Little success in my life. I wrote an essay and I put it onto Medium. It's called "A Thing Is a Noun," and it got picked by the philosophy section to get featured there. And the same day, Deepak Chopra also got picked, and I was like, I've heard of this dude, and I was proud that day. Me and Deepak together on the philosophy section of Medium. I'll tell you this. I hate that the trains aren't running, but then they just run like ghost trains. Because that was the one thing I'm like today. I'll probably have no trains for my set, but here we are. I am a huge Marilyn Manson fan. Still am. There's women coming forward and they're like, hey, he's like this super macabre and abusive dude. And I'm like, yeah, he made 12 studio albums about it. He's been saying that for 25 years. I feel if there's any person in this world who played an open hand with that image, it would be this guy. This is a dude who showed up in society 25 years ago and he goes, hey, I would like to play the part of the villain. And we said, cool. And 25 years later, people are like, villain. And I'm like, yeah, he applied for the job. We gave it to him. We feel that's very fair. I'll tell you what it reminds me of is the movie Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, okay? So you got, they're the Burrow gang, okay? They're the Burrow gang. And so Clyde Burrow, the first person he picks up for the gang is Bonnie. That's the first person he pitches on the gang. And he meets these people and he goes, hey, I am a bank robber and a murderer. Please join my gang. And one by one, people are like, I'm in. And they join. And he's completely sincere about who he is. And then his brother and sister-in-law join the gang. And the sister-in-law, she's not like Bonnie. She's a different type of lady. There's two types of ladies in the movie. Bonnie, who's awesome, and then this sister-in-law lady. And every time the sister-in-law is all happy when the money's flowing and times are good, but every time the chips are down, she turns on Clyde and she goes, oh, you're an abuser. You wrote me into this and manipulated me. This is what she does. And in the end, she's the one who flips on the gang. And the whole movie, here's the thing. Obviously, Clyde is a bank robber and a murderer. And you know that. You acknowledge that. But the chick who rolls over on them, she's also a cunt. And you acknowledge that. You know that. And you know that that's the chick who wasn't sincere. And you have empathy for Bonnie and Clyde because they're sincere people. I'll tell you what else it reminds me of is whenever there's every few years they have those R. Kelly documentaries, and there's always those overweight black ladies who look like Monique, and they're like, yeah, I dropped my daughter off at R. Kelly's house, and I thought he was gonna make her a famous singer, but then he just peed on her, and you're watching, and you're like, you knew that was going to happen. You knew that exactly. You signed up for that. You dropped your daughter off. You're like, hey, listen, one of two things is either going to happen. Either I'm going to get this famous singer money because my daughter is going to be made into a famous singer, or option B, R. Kelly's only going to piss on her and I'm going to get the piss money later on down the road. That's literally, it's so easy to decipher the motive of such an individual, because that's the thing, R. Kelly, we know this about him. So there's a certain villainness to these other folk. There really, truly is. I'll give you another example. Bob Marley is one of the greatest singers of all time. He's an incredible poet. The song Redemption Song was, pirates, yes, they robbed I, took I from the merchant ship. Minutes after daylight, from the bottomless pit, my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. And it's incredible poetry, just incredible poetry. And it's beautiful, and it's joyful. And here's the thing, there's a book called No Woman, No Cry, which is written by Rita Marley, which is Bob Marley's wife. And when you read it, you also learn that Bob Marley was a drug addict who cheated on Rita Marley all the time and beat the shit out of her on the reg. You realize that, right? And you realize there's this manicness to genius people. That's the thing, there's a manicness to genius people. And you realize that Bob Marley only showed the joyful side of himself. He did that, and that's fine. That was his choice. Still a great artist, but there's a certain level of insincerity to that because he only showed the joyful side. He didn't show his abusive side that he had. Now here's a guy, Marilyn Manson. He's the only one who showed up and goes, hey, listen, I am a villain. He's sincere from the get-go. And we penalize this dude. And that's fucking wrong. It really is, man.
Yeah.
So...